The condition is really crazy condition.
I mean, that shouldn't give away the whole secret to professional windsurf.
Matteo Iachino giving Antoine Albo a run for his money. Here we go. What a finish.
The guy is kind of talking bullshit.
The team's just got to work a little harder.
Welcome to the Windsurfing podcast, back again for episode 64. And this week, we've got a treat for you because we have a double gold medalist. Yes, 2 gold medals in the same Olympics, different disciplines. Crazy. And guess what? She is also a windsurfer. Yes, she's competed in the Defi Wind, grew up in the Czech Republic, so we talk about the windsurfing scene there. We talk about all things windsurfing and other sports and how they complement each other. Who is it? Well, it is, of course, Ester Ledecka.
Esther, how you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for finding the time. If I'm correct, in the last 3 weeks, you did Defi Wind, went to Monaco for the Formula One, been to the mountains twice for training. Am I missing something? Sounds busy.
No, I was quite busy, right? I was also dealing with some sponsor stuff. I had a lot of other sponsor duties, which are usual for this period. I usually do also a lot of school because I miss a lot through the winter. So I was a little bit trying to manage my schoolwork and get it done. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I don't know where to start with you. I mean, you're doing so many things, but I guess it starts with skiing, right? And then you pick up snowboarding at 5 and all this. But when did you actually pick up windsurfing?
It was the same year like snowboarding, because I started snowboarding and I got a coach, the Czech coach, who had a chalet in Croatia, and he was a very passionate windsurfer. And he told me that the snowboarders spend the summertime on the water for windsurfing. Okay. And then I was like, yeah, sure, let's try it. So he took the whole family of ours, and he learned us he was teaching us the windsurfing. And so I learned when I was like 5 years old. That was the first time I was standing on a board, like windsurfing boards.
Yeah, I was about to ask you if it's because everybody says, windsurfing is so difficult and whatever. But if you start at 5, it's not really, you don't really record, no? You don't really process it.
Yeah, but that time, it was even, I think that time was more difficult than now, because the sales were huge for the children. It wasn't like anything so small and light like it is right now. Yeah,
no, for sure. Everything was much worse. And yeah, also the technique, how they taught you and everything, I think now is a lot better. And yeah, the Czech scene, like you mentioned, like your coach said that snowboarders go, I thought you guys went to like New Zealand in the summer, but anyway, like the Czech scene is surprisingly big for a country that has no coast, I drive through this lake in the south, and it's always full of windsurfers. Then we compete on tour and we get a ton of support from Czech people, go to Croatia full of Czech windsurfers. Doesn't that, surprise you a bit?
I don't know. We have a lot of skiers too, and we have no mountains. I think it's really weird, but I think we are like quite into sports and into quite an adrenaline sports, I would say. It's really weird, but I don't really know why we are this way. But it's a good thing, I think. It's one of the few good things about Czech Republic.
This and the beer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, quickly. I don't want to bore you with this because you did a million interviews about this. 2018 Olympics. How many times did somebody tell you it's impossible to qualify in both skiing and snowboarding?
Oh, geez, many times since I started as a child. You know, it was the most pressure, I think, was around when I was like 15, 16, when I was still competing in both. And I started to be quite promising in both. And I was like junior, but I was heading to get into a World Cup in both. And most of the coaches that time were like, yeah, you have to decide now. Now is the time. Otherwise, you're going to miss the opportunity to become something huge in one sport. And I was like, yeah, how do you know? Nobody ever tried, you know, in this. Like, nobody tried to do two sports on such a high level and in the same, like, winter season. And they were like, yeah, but it's just obvious. It's like not possible to. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's try it and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
And so after that, like when I was like 18 or something, I already was really sure that I want to achieve like this high level in both sports, and that once I will be able to do it. And all of the people which were around me that time were like, they had to get used to it, so they wasn't so pushy anyway. So they just trying to help me and they tried to cooperate the coaches together, my snowboarding coach and with my ski coach. So they helped me to make it work. So since then it was already much better because they understood that they are not going to convince me anyway. So they just gave up.
She's stubborn. Let's try to make it work. What's the biggest challenge? Like scheduling is one for sure, but then like training, like periods and what to do and for when. We'll dive a little bit into the differences and stuff. But what's the biggest challenge? As you mentioned, it's the schedule is the worst part, I think, because I have to decide many times that I'm not going to compete in one World Cup and I'm going to do another tour because it's at the same time. It's both winter disciplines and it's on the weekend. So it's always a little bit painful in this because I would like to do both every weekend, but it's not possible. And also, when I'm switching from one sport to another sport, it's always like I need to get used to it a little bit. I need to I do like special exercises also, and it's a little bit difficult for the body to adjust to the new movement, even though I'm used to the switch already through the years. But it's always like the movement patterns are a little bit different, so it's a little bit hurtful sometimes. And also the boots are really painful, like the shoes for skiing and for snowboarding, they are really painful. And when I get used to one pair of boots and I have to switch to another ones, it's really hurtful also in this way. Yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, I mean, now you obviously have all the power. You've proven. Nobody questions that, right? But before, like you say, like how did you? Because obviously you can't do it from your own pocket. There's federations involved. There's sponsors. How do you like talk to somebody that tells you, okay, probably snowboarding by results, right? Snowboarding would be your number one, let's say, yeah. So then they tell you, okay, you have to go to this event in snowboarding, and you're like, no, actually, I'm gonna go to that one in skiing instead. How does that work? How does that conversation, even like politically, and how you deal with all that?
Well, now actually it's more than that. My sponsors, for instance, Red Bull, and they are more into skiing, so they push me a little bit more in the skiing. I really appreciate all the help they are doing for me, because it's I think with them, I was able to improve my skiing a lot, and I was able to achieve much better results. And I think I hope I have still many better results in front of me. But it was, but they are still they like me as an athlete, which is so variable and which has two sports, but also they would like to see me achieve the highest goals in skiing too, because they saw that I already did it in snowboarding, so they want me to achieve it now in skiing too. Which is amazing, and I really totally agree with that. But it's the same. It's for me, it's a little bit difficult then to explain then that I still want to snowboard too, because I'm just I'm always explaining that this is like the part of my heart. I cannot just ski or something, and I think the tendency now is more if someone is trying to convince me to stay on one side, it's more on the skiing side now, because of course the potential there for the marketing potential is much bigger, because it has much more spectators than in snowboarding, and so, but still, I love snowboarding, so I don't wanna stop with it, because I don't really see a point to do it, and I just have fun. So that's for me. This is the main thing that I love it, and since it's gonna stay this way, I'm gonna do both.
Yeah, and then when you qualified for Pyeongchang, I'm sorry if I butcher this Korean name. How many times did you hear it's impossible to win a medal in both?
Well, actually, I didn't really. I think nobody really thought that I'm gonna compete for a medal there in both. In snowboarding, they anticipated a little bit, because I had really good results in a World Cups before, but for snowboarding, nobody really anticipated that I'll be able to compete for medals, fight for medals. So nobody really thought that this might happen, and so me neither, actually. So
yeah, your face after winning the Super G, yeah. I think it says it all, right?
I mean, for sure, I was planning this since I was 5 years old. I was planning to get to the Olympics and get the golden medals in both sports. That was my plan. I also have much more plans for the future, but this was my plan and to do it. But I didn't know that it's gonna come so fast. I thought it's that I will maybe wait for the next Olympics and for sure. And also with Olympics, it's always you never know, because it's only one race and anything can happen. So it's I wished for it, and I was trying to get myself there, but I was anyway surprised when it happened, because I was okay, so it's already done, and it's insane.
Yeah, and what now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after 2022, where it's you win another gold, is it and then a fifth, right? You finish fifth in skiing. Is it business as usual? Not for you, obviously, because I know what an athlete goes through and everything, but, for the outside, for the media, you make this huge boom. I mean, internationally, obviously, everybody heard about it, talked about it, in 2018. And then 22 is just another day in the office, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it a little bit, but for me, personally, it was different, because back then in 2018, I was, for sure, I think I was on the level for snowboarding. I was there on the level where I should have been, and I mean, anything can happen in the race. It's only one race, only one chance, and anything can happen. Small mistake, and you are done. But I think I was on the really highest level there. And this year as well on snowboarding, I think I was in the top, in between the top athletes in this sport. So there was quite like I could say that before that I'm going there to fight for medals at least. And for skiing, it was like in Pyeongchang. It was before Pyeongchang, my best result in the discipline which I won there was 17th place. So I was in World Cup. So I was in top 20, which was amazing for me. It was really, really great because it takes, I was improving myself every season. So I was getting step by step up, but I wasn't on that level that I would say, yes, now this is the time that I'm going to be in top 3, because it's just the way it goes. But I was actually better in downhill, which I wasn't competing there because I had to do snowboarding that time. So, but doesn't matter. But by this time, I was everyone were like already more ready that I will be fighting for medals in skiing too. Everyone were like, okay, now she has chance, because I already proved that in the past World Cups I won a couple of World Cups. I was on the podium, so it was more likely that I will be fighting for medals. And it was for me something really different than before in Pyeongchang, where I was kind of a like exalt and a snowboarder more on the start of skiing race. Now I was already a skier on the start of skiing race, and everybody from the top athletes were counting with me that I'm gonna fight for it. So it was really cool. I mean, both different feelings, but really cool both.
Yeah. And how different are those two sports? Like, obviously different skill set, totally, but like mentally, physically, you mentioned some of the stuff, like technically with the coatings and stuff is quite similar. So how can you think it helps you actually? One sometimes helps the other?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, on one side, there are some things which are helping one sport to another. I think from skiing, I think it's the sense of speed, because I go really fast on skiing, and so when I go switch back to snowboarding, I don't really have that like fear from the speed. So I don't have the respect from the speed, which is good. From snowboarding, I take like this kind of a balance and sensibility for the edge, because on snowboarding I have only one edge, so only one chance to do it right. So you have to be much more precise with all the movements and so, and much more balanced. And that's what I took from snowboarding to skiing. But like, yeah, there are many like different things, and like there are many like things which are like, how to say, that snowboarding has these, that is more turny, skiing is more straight. And so I usually have the worst part from when I'm switching is to see the line right, because from skiing you go much more straighter on the gate. From snowboarding I have to go around, and so I mean there are many differences, but in the end they are both down the hill, so it's like
exactly. This is what I was about to ask. Like, is like Super G skiing closer to Super G snowboarding than it would be like to freestyle skiing, for example? Or
yeah, sure, it is. Actually, we don't do Super G snowboarding. We do only GS and slalom. But generally it's always the turns down the hill, so it's for sure much more similar than if I was doing a freestyle. Actually, I was doing freestyle when I was from my age, from when I was 5 years old until the 15 or 14 years old. I was doing a half pipe and slope style and then and motocross, but then I decided to go for Alpine, and I stayed on the Alpine in the end.
Yeah. Speaking of some Alpine legs, the Defi Wind. When I saw you there, I'm like, yeah, she probably has, the best legs for this kind of race, because normally we race like 3 minutes. Normally our slalom is like between two and a half to 4 minutes, and and Defi is is excruciating. So how did you feel physically over there? Like you could push all the way?
I think actually the legs were the most easy part. My legs were fresh like a daisy. All the other things were like I was exhausted. Because I have some like issues with the back when I'm switching to movements. Then I'm sometimes like when I'm getting to when I start the windsurfing, usually in the summer, then I have to go step by step. And this time I haven't had any time to get into it, because I came like day before and I just tried the equipment, and the next day I was racing. So I had a really strong pain in my back and in my arms, and like all the upper body were like really sore. So it was really insane. Like also the wind was, I don't know guys if it's normal for you this way, but for me it was really strong. So
especially the first day. The first day was second day was already okay, but the first day was really strong for me. So I was like, okay, I was also a little bit afraid if I'm gonna crash or something to not hurt myself, and because my coaches would be probably quite mad for me. Yeah, for sure. No, it was strong to the point where you needed like special gear. Like I only had my World Cup gear, and it was too big. I mean, you can hold it for 3 minutes, but then after a while, it's impossible. How did you? Yeah. So how did you like the race in general? I mean, it's hell of a race for your first international event. I mean, it's pretty crazy,
Yeah, it was. I actually was planning to go already for 3 years, because I got invited from the Brent 0.7 and AVE boards. And I always something got in my way and I couldn't go, because the schedule was that I had exactly at that date. I had my program for testing my skiing equipment or snowboarding equipment. And it was always like, I was like always, damn it, I'm not going to make it this year. And this year, finally I was able to come at least for 2 days. Because I had a gap in between my on snow camps, and I was like, okay, let's do it now. But I was like, yeah, sure, but I didn't stand on my board like for a year, and I was. It was really, for me, it was crazy, because I came there, and we get out of the car, and the wind was blowing so strong, and I was like, oh, I thought like I will. It will be a little bit easier, to compete, and that I'll have like some sail like 6, and I'll just go. It was like everything's going to be easy. The wind's going to be like medium light, and I'm just going to go and suddenly it was like quite a big waves or windy waves, and it was quite choppy. It was really windy, and it was like. I was like, oh, okay. Am I able to do it? Is this a good idea to make it? But I didn't want to give up, because I was already there. I was like, shit, just do it. I was like, I need to do it at least once in my life, and I wanna compete. So I asked the guys from Point 7 which is the smallest sail they have to be able to hold it. So in the end I was racing with 4, which was a wave sail. Wasn't really for the speed windsurfing, but for me it was like okay for these conditions. I was like, I need to get used to the camber sails like step by step, but like. To improve in my riding with this a little bit, but in the end the race was the first race was for me really crazy because I was really I would say confused about. I know that there's going to be some point in the end of the bay and I'm going to go around it. I understood everything, but in the end when I was racing it the first time, it wasn't that obvious where is the buoy, and because I was a little bit behind, I missed a little bit the start because I was like there on the beach and I was like, do you think I should go already? Yeah, everybody went. Okay, I'll go. So I went, and I was there pretty much. I wasn't surrounded with so many boys, so I didn't really know the direction exactly. And then I realized that I'm too much in the right and the boys are too much on the left, and I had to go with the wind, and there was a little bit I was a little bit confused the first turn, and then I was going on my way back. I was like, oh shit, my back hurts, like everything hurts me. And I was like, are you gonna make one more round because you are already now quite destroyed? I was like, no, I'm doing it. I just have to finish it. And so I did the other round, which was already better. And the next day, when I was racing, I was already more familiar with the course and with the beach and the bay, how it gets to the sea, how far is it? And it's like it was much more easier for me the second day to like enjoy it. And so the first day was quite a fight. But it was really fun. When I was imagining how it's gonna go, it was actually I thought that I'm gonna make the race. You know, I'm gonna finish, however, quite bad. I didn't have any expectation for the placement, but I was thinking like, okay, then I'm gonna like get out of the water. I will have like beautiful hair, you know. And I'm gonna like, yeah, there I am, I made it. And actually the reality was that I was like crawling out of the water and I was like hair were like that everywhere. And like I was like, okay, cool. I was very happy that I survived the first day.
Yeah, the first day was definitely hard. But everybody describes you as super competitive. And even Cookie, the boss of Point 7, he said like, oh yeah, she was super focused actually. Like she wanted to, you know, win the race. And like, how did you, you know, like, did you actually check like, what are the other girls doing? How can I, you know, catch up to them? How can I, you know, did you like really treat it that way?
I was actually, I was checking the results then for sure because I'm a very competitive person. I really am. But it's obvious that they're on a different level. I admire them more than I think that I would be able to reach them in the future. But for sure, I will try. I mean, the thing is that I want to, you know, how to say, the gap in between us was huge, you know, in between me and the first girl. And I was just, I need to find which way should I do it better a little bit. And I think it was the second race I was already better in the way. I also didn't crash that many times because the first race I was crashing a lot. I was exhausted. And the second race I already managed, but I have to improve my jibe in the like choppy waters because I'm able to do a quite nice jibe when it's flat, but when it's choppy, I get distracted and out of the balance. It's really difficult to make it. So
especially when there's 50 people around you.
Exactly, and you have to fit at least exactly in between of them with the jibe. So it's like, but it was an amazing experience, and I will try to. I think it's like I should really try to find a way to train more with the camber sails, because it's as well a huge difference, you know, and I do many things wrong, I think, like in my windsurfing, but I would like to improve that and see what am I able to do maybe next years in Defi, and try to improve myself in windsurfing, because it's just fun, you know.
Yeah, it's like you did the parallel slalom with a freestyle board, basically, now, you know.
Oh, thanks.
So it's quite an achievement already anyway. You know?
Okay, then
yeah.
You should have some category for the guys who goes with the wave sail, you know. It's not.
No, I think the first day it was so windy that Marion Mortefon, who won that race, I think she was on a wave sail. I think the girls they went on their slalom stuff and they just couldn't hold it, you know. I mean, like the guys went on like girl sizes, let's say, you know. So
right, yeah.
So I think it was just super windy. Okay, and the whole setup, the whole scene, the whole festival, like how can you compare to everything you've seen in the mountains and, you know, like the vibe around, you know, the sport and stuff?
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I think the windsurfing people around windsurfing have the coolest vibe, like of all time. They are really great people. I don't know if there is like special concourse for these people, but it's like I never met someone who would be doing windsurfing and be an asshole. Actually, it's like it's really less people, I think, or I was lucky. But so far, I'm very happy that I'm at least like in some point a little bit part of this community, because it's an honor, really. The people are amazing, and I don't know if it's the thing that it's like outdoor sport and you have to like fight not only against each other but also many times against the nature. But it's just, you know, it's really amazing how the people are connected and how it's the vibe around, you know. And it was great to see it, so many people competing, you know. I couldn't really imagine how it's going to be. It's like I saw some videos before I went there, but it's something really special, which is good to see and experience on at least once in a life, and to see this kind of a community in this environment, and with this kind of racing attitude, because it was really special for me.
Yeah. And again, back to Cookie, who said like he asked you, because obviously he's he sponsors people and whatever. And he asked you like, hey, so what do you have to do for your sponsors when you're competing? And you're like, not much. I put like one post a month or whatever. Is that true? I'm jealous. We have like 2-3 posts a week in our contract.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That is true. And I know he was quite disappointed, because he was like, it really depends. With my contract, it really depends about how much money they gave me, and that is based on how I'm gonna respond with on Instagram,
of course, yeah.
Things with all the duties around, and it's like usually when with my biggest sponsors, with Red Bull, it's different a little bit, because it's like it's more natural, because I have a lot of pictures with Red Bull on my head whatever I do because they are the head sponsor. And but with the other sponsors, usually like 1 to 2 posts in a month. So
Yeah, so I'm jealous. Yeah,
but but it's also like, it's not always. It's like something. Some of my sponsors are like betting. The betting
company. Yeah.
Companies, yes, or like I have a sponsor which is for the Miele. Do you know what Miele is? That they make the washing machines and these things. I have a sponsor for like Richard Miele for the watches and so on. And it's like suddenly when you have this like amount of sponsors which are so different of the way they do the things they do, and it's like I cannot imagine to do like 2 posts with the washing machine for a week. That would be really weird, and I think everyone from the fans would be like, "What are you doing?
You wash your clothes a lot.
Are you a housekeeper, like woman, or are you a snowboarder or skier?" Okay, so that's why also it's not always like natural to do it. Maybe that's also this thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's totally different because in windsurfing, your main sponsors most of the time are your board and sales sponsors, so it's like right. You say, you do it every day, so you have content, etc.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And windsurfing in general, like you do it much, you have time, like obviously your season is through the winter, and then in the summer I hear you go with your dad to Greece every year and whatever, but I would assume you don't have like that much time also to do it and to really dig into it and like you say, improve on camber sales, improve your job, like set goals and stuff.
I think I have like period of time where I'm in Greece, which is always like a month and a half, which is quite a big period for me, that I stay on one place. I think that's the longest period which I'm on one place. I'm traveling around and I never on one place more than 2 weeks. And so it's quite cool because I do my summer preparation there, my fitness. So my physiotherapist coming there and I work with them and my fitness guys, and it's just it's really peaceful and quiet, and usually I'm able to manage my schedule there to make all the hard work in the morning and until the noon, and then after I'm going for windsurfing until the evening when the wind is close. then I do this because I realize that anyway. It's really difficult to do because then it's quite hot during the afternoon, and you cannot do really physical stuff on this kind of heat. So it's better to do it in the morning anyway. And I don't want to I don't want to stop with windsurfing just because I'm doing the fitness preparation. So I'm doing both, and it's just. Actually, I had kind of a little bit fights with my fitness guys because they were like, but when you do like hard power, you shouldn't do windsurfing after because then you like melt the power in the like long-term stuff. And I was like, but I'll do it anyway, it's because it's like the wind is good, so I go. So then we made a deal that I have to wait at least like for 5 hours or 6 hours until the power settle down and then continue. But it's like, that's the way it is.
Yeah. What's your...
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you have some goals set for yourself in windsurfing? I mean, I would bet you have if like short term or long term or...
I don't know. I think there are some in my head, but I'm really bad in telling telling my goals to other people. Also in skiing and snowboarding is the same, but it's for sure I can tell you that I would like to improve with my riding with the camber sails, with the slalom boards, and improve my speed a little bit and get used to choppy waters a little bit better, and be able to jibe everywhere I want because so far I was practicing my jibe only in the flat waters, and so I have to improve this. So far, these are my goals for next season or next few seasons. So hopefully, I will make it happen.
Yeah. How do you compare it to your sports? Like, I mean, they're so different. But
yeah.
Like, is there similarities you find? Are they totally different? Obviously, you mentioned the upper body stuff, and yeah, for sure you analyze that a little bit.
I think it has a lot of common, especially with snowboarding, in terms of the balance stuff. Like when you're balancing and have like this special like building the special sense in your feet for the water, and it's a little bit same for the snow. And so it's something what is really helping, I think, for me. That I already from windsurfing, that I can take it a little bit like this kind of a sense for the water, and which I'm then transforming to the sense to snow.
Yeah, and the fact that you have to ride both sides, like, goofy and regular at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that like,
Yeah. Actually, I never realized that it's like you do it in the windsurfing and it's like, yeah, whatever. But then I realized like two years ago that I actually a little bit better when I go the right, like goofy, like on snowboard. Yeah. When I go forward, because I'm more used to it and I'm more in balance and in control. But it's for sure good to have both, so it's not only on one side all the time.
Yeah, when you start like doing maneuvers, like, I don't know, loops or whatever, like tricks and stuff, that's, I don't know, it's so hard to learn both ways. There's
true. Yeah. I was trying to practice at least some pops and I wanted to learn volcano, but I was really bad in it. I was trying like for 2 days every like for 3 hours straight, and I was almost drowning. Then I got a little bit tired of it, and I wanted to go fast again. But it's for sure one of the things which I would like to improve too in my windsurfing, to learn at least one cool trick.
The forward loop is the easiest by far, like out of the stuff in the air and whatever. If you have a little chop, a little ramp, it's easier, but flat water is possible too. So yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. You leave for Greece tomorrow, right? So that's there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw somewhere that you started foiling too, right?
Yeah, I was doing. I mean, I get the e-foil, so I'm doing. I'm just riding on my e-foil. It's quite for me. It's also good for balance, like a little bit different input again, and it's quite fun. It's like just easy for chill. I think the e-foil is the I don't know. But for me, it was much easier to learn than the windsurfing foil. I'm still fighting a little bit with my windsurfing foil. I also have quite old one from the time when it started. It's like already like 7-8 years old.
It's probably terrible, that foil.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
if it's like
you
6 years old or whatever, it's probably just a very bad, difficult foil.
Yeah, I don't even have like a special board for it. I just put the foil inside my slalom board and just ride with that, which is like difficult. But yeah, it's still fun. It's still something different, but I love like the speed windsurfing better. The slalom I like better.
Yeah. I'm asking because now foiling is obviously in the Olympics for windsurfing.
I know.
Yeah, you have Winter Olympics and then you have the summers free, so maybe you should you should consider it.
Maybe I should start foiling now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's just too much equipment you carry around all the time, I'm happy that I have all my windsurfing stuff on one place in Greece, and I don't have to travel with it because I can imagine to do whole windsurfing tour and then also a skiing, snowboarding tour, and everywhere all the equipment that would be exhausted for me and my whole team.
Yeah. No, in Olympics, the Olympic stuff is just one board, one foil, one sail, and whatever. The Pro Tour is where it's really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's last year it was 7 sails, 4 boards. You carry everything double because you need spares, obviously. And yeah,
right.
It's pretty tough. All right. Enjoy Greece.
Thank you.
Post some stuff. Post how it goes with the forward loop. It's really, really easy. It's it's scary for some people, but I don't think you'll find it scary after flying down the hill 100 k's an hour. So yeah.
Okay. I'll try it. I'll give it a try.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And I guess we see you at the next Defi then.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Right on.
And
thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye.
So there we go. That is our first famous person that actually windsurfs as well. Do you know any more famous athletes, movie stars, maybe musicians who also windsurf? Let us know in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, I think there could be some really interesting podcasts. As I've mentioned before, Dire Straits were die-hard windsurfers. So cool when you see that. And we've had a few other names mentioned. So let's see what we can do. If you like that podcast, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to try and bring these podcasts back online.